I've been wanting to post that video several times on my Instagram page because I love Jerry Seinfeld's stance on it.
Why do you think that word, the N word, has so much weight to it? You know, because I think we sometimes empower things. I'm kind of can be a mentalist at times where it's like if I don't give something power, then it has no meaning to me. Well, why do you think some of us kind of like if someone, like you said, you would react in a violent way? That means that's damn near a punch at you.
Right. It's really the intent. Now, someday if you catch me on a right day, I'll just shred you by making you look stupid. Like if you hit me with because I can't really say what I would do face to face. I know what I do online. Like if somebody says it online, I'm gonna make you look stupid.
Right.
Like, it's big racism. I game. So, I'm playing, Call of Duty. And normally I mute strangers. Like, if you somebody I don't know, normally I mute everybody because I know they be big racists in the gaming world, just be blurting out stuff. So I can make you look stupid in that realm because we're not face to face.
Right.
You know what I mean? But having not had the experience face to face before, I'm speculating on what I would do.
Yeah.
Maybe I would get violent. Maybe I would say something violent, or maybe I would just roast the shit out of you. It just make you look like an idiot. Yeah. So there's that. So I'm all like hypothetical at this point. But the power is just, I learned at an early age. Like I said, growing up in the south side of Chicago, they taught us Black history out the gate.
Yeah.
So we're learning about Martin Luther King, Phyllis Wheatley, Malcolm X. We're learning about Marcus Garvey at an early age, and we're learning about the civil rights movement early. So it's just like, we get in the Black experience and we know how it was back in the day, how it was in the South. So it was just like, and my older brothers, I'm the youngest of three boys. So my older brothers would come home and they would tell me, I remember there was a video store in Bridgeport. There was an area in Chicago that was, at that time, pretty like Italian, Irish, whatever. And there was a video store there, and they was like, man, they came home and they was like, man, they chased us out of Bridgeport. They called us niggas. And I was like, oh. So I'm taking in the racism in that moment as well. So I'm just like, oh, okay, that's what's going on out here. While also learning stuff in school. So it was just like, all right. So even though, we don't want to give it the power that we give it, but it just, knowing that you're going to use that chip, that racism chip, knowing what that word does and what it can do, if you're going to play that card, it's just like.
Well, obviously it's a big form of disrespect.
Yeah.
Because you already know.
Right.
You got a track record that this energy.
You know what it is.
It kind of opens up a conversation. You being a stand-up comedian. There's been debates before about white comedians using the N-word.
Right.
Comedy is freedom of speech.
Yeah.
How do you navigate, and what is your perspective on that?
For me, as a comedian, I'm all about, is it funny? Is it clever? Is it funny? And where is it coming from? What's the intent? I'm big on intent. Like we have debates all the time about, if you ain't Black, you shouldn't be saying the N-word.
Yeah.
But I'm all about intent. Like if you're reciting rap lyrics, and I know that you're into hip hop and this is what you do, but you happen to be white, and you just say it at a concert or whatever, I'm not going to flare up.
That's because I would imagine a guy like Kendrick.
Yeah.
He looks into the crowd, you see white kids, they're saying the N-word.
Right.
I just wonder how do you process that?
Yeah. And I saw an interview with Freddie Gibbs, and he was just like, I wouldn't trip on that because I'm all about the intent. Like, they might forget to edit, or they might, if they're home alone reciting the lyrics, it's like, no, you just reciting the lyrics. So it doesn't hit me the same.
Yeah, I think I'm still processing.
Yeah.
Right?
And I get people that won't allow it in any shape or form. I get that. I'm like, all right. But for me, it's like, all right, you really into the culture. You just really into hip hop. So I'm not getting a real racist vibe from you as a person.
I think the gesture, it's such a sensitive conversation because even if one were to censor themselves, it becomes like they're now kind of pandering to you. Yeah. Like your mind can go there. Well, if that's, you don't have, don't be weird if that's what you wanted to say in rap. But also the thing of like, I might appreciate the respect that you don't know how I would respond to that. You don't know how I feel. But it's just interesting Now, I'm gonna make sure it's a touchy one because it deals with someone else in the game, Chris Rock. He went viral when he had a conversation with Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, I know the exact clip.
Yeah, man. He and for context for people listening and watching this, I believe Louis C.K. used the N-word, the hard ER.
Yep.
And Chris didn't check the situation.
Not at all.
And he just kind of laughed it off.
Man, having a good time.
And recently, Chris has got his card pulled because it seems like he's pandering to that white audience. But staying in the course of the N-word in that conversation, how did you react to that?
I've seen that video several times, and I've been wanting to post that video several times on my Instagram page because I love Jerry Seinfeld's stance on it. Like, Jerry Seinfeld refused to get in on the humor of it, and I respected him even more because I was already a fan of Jerry Seinfeld anyway. Like, Seinfeld was my favorite TV comedy. So for him to, in that moment, stand his ground while they just having a good ass time, Ricky, Louis, and Chris, and Jerry was just like, no, I don't see the need, nor do I seek, finding a joke about it. And I was just like, all right, Jerry. But I've never posted the video because I knew it would make Chris Rock look bad.
Yeah, that's where I would.
And so that's what prevented me from posting it because I know his brothers. So it's just like, I don't want that to become, but I've always wanted to post that because I love Jerry's mindset on that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he refuses to take it there because he doesn't see anything funny about it. And I feel like as a comedian, that's the lane I come from as a comedian. Like, I'm not trying to push the envelope.
And it seems like the energy of comedy, there's always been a dark comedy, but there's some comedians that are really like dark and like just, I'm going to say the most heinous thing.
Right. They feel like it's not real comedy if they're not pushing the envelope, if they're not offending somebody in the audience. They feel like it's not real comedy to them until they can make somebody upset.
That's
and
interesting.
I don't come from that.
The key thing you said was to them.
Right.
When I thought that as comedians, you're looking to help raise the energy of the people watching you. But to them, I feel good about what I said, but you feel like shit.
Right.
I don't know if that's supposed to be the craft.
For me, it's not. Like, I know there are some comedians that really believe that. Like, they believe that, you're going to have to get in on what I find funny. And for me, my purpose on stage is to be my authentic self, be funny, but also you have to make the audience laugh. That's the end game. That's the goal. If not, just stand up on an empty stage and just talk, do a podcast or whatever. But for me, my goal is to make you leave the venue feeling good.